URC round number 6, folks. Pretty good round for the home sides all up, with all but Benetton and Stormers getting wins. The Welsh boys saw 3 of their 4 sides get wins, which is something of a rare occurrence these days. But man, Cardff, their comeback was quite incredible. And Leinster are the only unbeaten side in the URC after beating the Lions pretty comfortably at home, although it's the first time they didn't manage to get a 4-try bonus point this season. Let's go through the results pretty quick. You guys can let us know your thoughts on the round that was, and then the URC kind of takes a wee break as we head into the November tests. First match, the Bulls and Benetton. Benetton 15, Bulls 17. Bulls kind of a comeback win, 12 points to 3 down, with an exchange of penalties in pretty wet conditions in Treviso, but 2 tries, Ludwig and Van der Merwe getting them from close range forwards efforts for the Bulls, and the Creole conversion is the winner. Seems like it was a pretty ugly game. Kicks from hand was 46-42, which is, even like 46 kicks is often more than an entire other game. So the fact that there were, 90-ish kicks in this game, speaks to the conditions being pretty nasty, I guess. The Bulls dominated the possession. They dominated the run meters. They scored the only tries of the game. So I think you'd have to say they're pretty deserved winners, but yeah, maybe not the easiest spectacle on the eyes. Devin Williams, 104 meters for the Bulls. Not a bad shift. And Miley had 18 tackles for the Benetton boys defensively. But yeah, losing bonus point for Benetton, and the Bulls round out their tour with a win and no red card this week. 2 red cards in 2 weeks, the previous 2, both of which were rescinded. Not the greatest look for the comp, but hey, no red cards, winning into their run as we head into the break. Scarlets and Zebre. The Scarlets boys get a win, 30 points to 8 at home. Zebre knocked over a drop goal and had a try through Cambriani early, so they took a wee lead, but 8 minutes was the end of the scoring for Zebre. Rugby goes longer than 8 minutes, so the Scarlets, with tries through Rogers, Max Page, Murray and McLeod. I mean, the 3 of their 4 tries were to the backs. Max Page is quick. Rogers with the hands out to him on the right wing. It was Plumtree to Blair Murray out on the left wing. So some pretty sweet tries. And then McLeod with the maul one for the bonus point for the Scarlets boys. So it's a pretty emphatic win. They had some really nice attacking numbers. I mean, defenders beaten us 28-15. Clean breaks 7-4. Tom Rogers beat 8 defenders. Plumtree was looking pretty sharp. Ferrari had a bunch of tackles for Zebre, but ultimately not much to show for this for them, and it is another loss. But yeah, good on the Scarlets for picking up a win. Stormers and Glasgow from Danny Craven Stadium in Stellenbosch. That is a beautiful stadium, and it's a cracking crowd. But they couldn't get a win. It's Glasgow 28 points to 17 with a bonus point win. So not a bad way to end their tour to South Africa. Tries for the Stormers from Willemse and Duplessis. Willemse went off in the first half of this game. So we'll see what the update is on him injury-wise. But yeah, the Stormers seem to make quite a few errors in this game. The Glasgow boys, Johnny Matthews gets a try and he looks sharp. I still reckon he should be in the Scotland squad. But hey, what do I know? Tui Polotu got one. That one was pretty nice from a conciliary dink through. Rowe got one, and then Fenter got one for the bonus point from close range. Can't ask for much more than a bonus point win away from home in South Africa, to be fair. So the champions, reigning champions, looking pretty good. Both sides had tries TMO'd as well. But I mean, the offloads in this game, 14 apiece. That is nuts. That's sometimes you don't see 14 offloads in an entire game. So to see both sides making 14 is massive. But you look at the Stormers, tackling percentage, 70%. Really low. Really, really low. You're not going to win many games with that. Glasgow were 84, but the Glasgow lineout was 9 from 13, which is not the best. But I mean, Johnny Matthews, 6 defenders beaten. Rory Darge, 16 tackles, so doing his kind of normal stuff. Gallant had a couple of turnovers, one, but yeah, a few too many errors seemingly from the Stormers boys, so they will be pretty disappointed with that one. The Sharks, though, they won't be disappointed. Their big win over Munster in Durban, 41 points to 24. From a Munster point of view, they were able to score a couple of late tries, which at least sees them take a point out of this match. But the Sharks, man, they started fast, fussy within a minute after a Grant Williams snipe. Mapimpi got one on like 4 minutes after Munster kind of failed to take a high ball. Grant Williams got one for himself. Esther Hazen got one with some pure power. And Chituka got one from a charge down. So yeah, really coming out of the blocks firing. The Sharks boys, Ahern got one with a nice weird kind of pick and go move for Munster. Haley got one, he beat a few tacklers. Nash got one. He's got some good footwork after a nice cross kick, and then Burns got one for the bonus point as the clock was in the red. So yeah, there's not much to cheer about if you're a Munster fan with 41-24. Tour de South Africa's not gone that flash, but as I mentioned, they could have come away from this one with nothing. The fact that they get that 4 tries is at least something to take home. Tackle percentage, if you were thinking that the 70% from the Stormers was bad, Munster's was 68. I cannot remember the last time I saw a professional rugby outfit drop below 70% in tackling, so that's not great. 86 from the Sharks guys. Offloads also pretty high, man. 15-10. So, yeah, Mapimpi 136 run meters. Nash had 107. Grant Williams had 100 plus. So, yeah, a fair bit of running rugby in that one. But, yeah, well done to the Sharks. Pretty decent crowd there at Durban, seemingly as well. Ospreys and Edinburgh, 22 points to 13. The Ospreys boys get some tries through the boys in the low numbers. Dewey Lake got one from a maul. Gareth Thomas got one from close range. And then Sam Parry got one from close range as well. So none of the backs getting tries this week. Velicott got one for Edinburgh from a quick tap. It was at the Brewery Field, and I feel like that is the ground. That place looks great. The atmosphere seems great. There was a bloody nice day as well. Edinburgh seemed to get caught a few too many times in their own 22 and conceded way too many penalties. 17 to the Ospreys, 10. And the second half territory was 69-31 to the Ospreys. So that is absolute control. I mean, it's interesting that you see Duan van der Merwe, who's this big name international winger, beats 4 defenders. And then Dewey Lake, who's not quite as well known for his attacking prowess, also got 4 defenders beaten. So interesting contrast. But yeah, for the Ospreys, that's a win. Another win for the Welsh sides. And Edinburgh, their season still remains something of a mixed bag. Leinster and Lions, the two unbeaten sides going into this one. Leinster, though, pretty heavy favourites, 24-6. We're actually down 6-3 at one point, but the Lions' 17th minute score was their last scoring of the game, and Leinster managed to get the only tries of the game. They had to work for them, though. There was a good crowd at the Aviva from the kind of the lower deck, seemed to be pretty well sold out. Like Josh van der Fleer burrowed over on 31 minutes. Caelan Doris got that leg drive going in the second half, and then a clock in the red penalty try from a maul saw them get 3 tries. James Lowe got denied one from a heck of a defensive play from Henko van Wyk, but yeah, 24-6, really comfortable. They had 76% territory in the second half, Leinster, so never looked like losing this one. But as I mentioned, first time they've not managed to secure 4 tries is just something to kind of keep in mind, that they've been so much a cut above everyone this season. Clean break 6-1. Caelan Doris 78 run meters. He is an absolute machine. Ruben Schoolman made 17 tackles on defense, but yeah, the Lions dropped their first game of the season. Connacht and the Dragons, that one ends up 31-7. It didn't look like there was going to be much in the way of scoring in the second half. Paul Boyle got one in the first half for Connacht. Caelan Blake got one from a nice Bundyaki offload. And Prendergast busted through the Dragons' all too soft defence in that first half. So 19-0 lead, and 19-0 it stayed for bloody ages until there was a bit of a flurry of scoring at the end. Ford got the bonus point for Connacht on 73 minutes. Devine set that up with some nice steps. The Dragons got one through Basham after a maul from a nice 50-22, but they didn't get the whole last try wins thing because Devine got an intercept. So, yeah, for Connacht, it's a win. As I mentioned, there was a whole period of that game where there was a whole lot of not scoring, but they do manage to secure the bonus point. Dragons, sadly for them, come away from this one with nothing. Offloads is 14-1. To Connacht, that is difference in styles, I guess. Run meters 398 to 242 is not that lopsided. Prendergast beats 5 defenders beaten. That's really encouraging for him. Ben Carter, 18 tackles on a defensive effort for the Dragons. And then maybe the craziest game of the round, Cardff and Ulster. How bad were Cardff in the first half? They were awful. Ulster absolutely had this game wrapped up. Like Cardff had, there was a fair few away fans there for Ulster as well, which was pleasing. But Cardff had a yellow card in 12 minutes. Ulster were just camped in the Cardff half for virtually the entire first half. Ezechuku got one, Postlethwaite got a couple. I think they largely scored during the yellow card period. I mean, the way Werner Koch kept the ball in for Postlethwaite's second one was quite incredible from a kick. Like, Callum Sheedy just kicked it. Werner Koch managed to keep it in the field of play. So, quite incredible. It was a big lead for Ulster. And everything was going wrong for Cardff. When they would finally win a scrum penalty, Cardff got pinged for like a dummy throw at the line-out. It was just what the hell stuff from Cardff. Nothing kicks when they finally had attack. It was really bad. I was not happy with Cardff, and I'm not even a Cardff fan. I was quite frustrated. Like, they had 52 run meters in the first half to 244 for Ulster. That's quite an incredibly poor performance from Cardff in the first half. And then they were like, second half they looked a lot sharper, but man, they were blowing some tries. Grady's hands, it must have been, I don't know what he was eating at half time, but something slippery. Ben Thomas had a nice line break. But they were at least putting some pressure on Ulster. Ulster managed to get themselves a yellow card and then some nice tries. Stevens with a wonder finish during the yellow card period got them a try. They got one through Hughes. That one was from a maul, and that was not long after Ulster had been held up, to be fair. I think if Ulster scored that try, they'd probably go on to win it, but the fact that they didn't meant the kind of door was just open for Cardff. Hughes got one, and then Dan Thomas got one. So, yeah. I think Sheedy with the clutch conversion to put them in front. Really encouraging stuff from them. Doak had a chance to win it with a long-range penalty. It had the direction but didn't quite have the legs. Ulster went through a bunch of phases of the death but couldn't quite get it done. So that one was bonkers. I honestly thought Cardff were truly dead and buried, but they managed to come back. The stats kind of even out. Like, the territory actually finished 71-29 in the second half for Cardff, though they were so much better in that second half. Stevens had 68 metres. Lowry had 6 defenders beaten, but yeah, Ulster will be mightily disappointed with that one, despite the fact that they get themselves a losing bonus point from it. So yeah, like I said, that's the end of the round for the URC. We head into test match rugby for a wee while, so the URC goes into kind of hibernation mode for a month. But you guys let us know your thoughts. How do you think the teams are looking? And yes, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'd appreciate it. Talk to you guys again soon. See you later.